Alright, just wanted to preface that in this video there is going to be spoilers for the first episode of To Your Eternity, so if you haven't seen it yet, maybe this video isn't for you, so just click off now or get spoiled by watching the rest of the video. So this anime seems like an interesting story. The manga was made by the same manga for Silent Voice, right? Just thinking this over in my head makes me realize how obvious it was going to be that this first episode almost had me crying. I didn't think an anime could make me feel so emotional towards a glowing, shape-shifting ball. Surprisingly, when I first read through the description of the show, I thought it could be something similar to our Slimy Friends show. In a way, it is similar, but at the same time, I was very wrong in assuming that. To Your Eternity follows the story of an alien-type creature, which first takes the form of an orb. This creature can shapeshift into any object, creature, or person who it interacts with. This is where I assumed it could be a little bit like the slimy boy over there. At first, the orb only takes shape of a rock. As a rock, the orb experiences many different weather conditions and seasons. One day, during an extremely harsh blizzard, an injured wolf crosses paths with the orb. When the wolf perishes in the snow, the orb takes the opportunity and shapeshifts into the wolf. Through this key transformation in the life of the orb, it was able to properly experience all senses that mammals have. It was finally able to feel things, smell things, and even taste things. The newly formed wolf then stumbles on an almost abandoned camp, with only a young boy living there. As it turns out, the boy had been waiting for the return of his wolf companion. That wolf companion is the same one that perished and that the orb took the form of. For the first time, the orb feels like it is at home. So many different experiences in such a short space of time. It meets somebody who cares for it, somebody who trusts it, and somebody who just loves it. This boy was the first person that this mysterious orb had ever had the chance to meet and interact with. This seemed to cause an influx of emotions that the orb had no idea how to express in such a short time. In the boy's home, the creature hears the crackling of fire, the warm smell of food, and the comfort of a nice warm bed, finally able to learn what it is like to be alive. It even states that if it could talk, it would have said it'd love to stay here forever. These are the first few key experiences this orb has after its long, boring life as a rock in the ground. As the episode continues, we learn that this boy is living alone because his family abandoned him. Sadly, the boy still believes that one day they will come back and see him. He believes that it has only been 5 years and that one day he will see them again. This was one of the first times when watching the episode that I felt something begin to tug at my heartstrings, trying to break in and crack open my ice-cold otaku heart. The boy goes on to talk about the paradise his family once told him about, along with all the yummy foods and smart, intelligent people that can be found, along with how happily he believes that everyone lives in paradise. It is so interesting to hear the perspective of this boy, as he is still hopeful that one day his family will come back for him. As we learn more about his past, we learn that the reason he didn't go with the rest of his family is because of his wolf power. When hearing this, you feel a little uneasy. This is possibly how the orb would feel during this situation, because the struggles of the boy has to deal with were dropped on the newly transformed wolf just mere minutes into the episode. The boy tells us about how he was left to care for the elderly who passed on quickly after the others left him, making us feel more for the boy as we hear about all the heartbreaking things that he's experienced, whilst being told in such a light-hearted way. For a brief moment we feel as though the boy's wishes come true, as his warning shells begin to ring, letting him know something is happening near his house. At first he thinks someone has returned, but when he opens the door to an empty room and we see how broken his heart feels at that moment, you realise how much his family has hurt him in the past, and how much more he wishes he had done. Next up is one of my favourite scenes of the episode, as the shells actually notified the wolf and the boy that a huge fish had been caught. The scenes that follow are some of the most wholesome parts of the whole episode, as the boy teaches the orb how to eat, because obviously, as a rock, you don't really eat food. The thing I am loving up to this point is that watching every wholesome scene, the characters are inside next to the fireplace, giving off a homely feel to the audience, making you feel very close and comfortable whilst watching. The opposite occurs when the boy tells about his family all abandoning him and his only other relatives passing away, as these scenes are done in the cold environment outside, in the snow, and in the ruins of his old family's village. You really feel for the boy as he begins to draw his family, showing how much he really cares for them, every day wishing he could see them again. We are then shown a cool little montage of the boy and the wolf getting ready to go on an adventure to find the family that abandoned the boy all those years ago. The viewer is filled with hope as the boy and wolf discover a sign, possibly pointing them in the right direction. The raw happiness felt in this scene is incredible, We as the viewer feel this too, as in the short 10-minute time period, the characters have already been able to build up such a strong connection with us. One day as the pair are walking through the snow, they find a small tree. The boy gets extremely excited, as this means they are starting to get closer and closer to their final destination, finally seeing some reward for his hard work. During this excitement, the boy falls, breaking through the ice. He falls into a cold river. As a viewer, you think this may be the end, and the story would take a dark turn. This shows just how well the story and characters are being crafted to pull you in so strongly and feel so much for them so quickly. I could feel my heart sink as I saw the boy fall. When he gets out of the water, he plays it off as if nothing happened and everything is alright. Then he notices that he is bleeding from his leg. This is the first time we see the character doubt his decision for leaving the safety of his home. Again, this is the moment that we as the viewer feel scared for the boy and understand the pain he is going through of self-doubt, anxiety and grief. A few more minutes go by of the pair trudging through the snow, with the boy still having hope in his heart, until, quite suddenly, tragedy strikes. The boy finds the next sign, but this time it has a red cross on it, telling him that he isn't going in the right direction. He turns to his left and sees a pile of rubble with graves scattered all around. With this discovery, we finally see the walls of this boy's world begin to crash down. I think this is the closest I have come to absolutely bawling my eyes out in a very long time to an anime. We finally see the boy realize that he just may not ever be able to achieve the goal he once had of making it to paradise, where, as he found out through the roughest ways, that his family didn't make it, and he has been all alone in this world for the past 5 years. All his hope crumbles before him, with nowhere to go and nobody to run to, even coming to the conclusion that even with his wolf friend, he was still alone. He still had nobody. Nobody could help him, and nobody can tell him what to do. Just by seeing the boy break down so quickly grabs you as the viewer by the neck. The strong grab of these emotions is enough to tear you up. The positivity that this character once glowed of is gone. He has succumbed to the cold, harsh reality of how cruel the world can be to some people, and he is finally made to realize that. At this point, you can tell that the orb has been able to create a bond with the boy. He feels loved and wants to see the boy do his best. When this happens, it didn't only affect the boy. The wolf had to step up and push the boy to keep moving. The pair turned back in the end, deciding that they would be better off going back home where it is safe, and where they know they could live happily. On arrival, the boy is in worse condition than before. Over the next few minutes of the episode, the boy continues to edge closer and closer to death. The wolf can tell that this is eventually going to happen. Obviously, this affects it too, as this boy was the first person to ever show affection for the orb. Before passing, the boy tells the wolf to remember him. Remember him forever, and to never forget him. Just through this scene alone, it made me think of how in many cultures and religions, it is believed that people live on through the memories of others. Maybe this is the story that this first episode was trying to tell. Maybe, just maybe, this anime could be one of the greatest anime to draw out each of our emotions one by one that we could ever see. The beautiful soundtrack helps with boosting the emotions that are felt throughout the episode. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to say anything negative on the show so far, and I hope each episode is able to impact me as much as this one did. I'm quite excited to see what else is in store for the next few episodes. I have fallen in love with this series already, and am most likely going to start picking up the manga. Anyway, please leave your thoughts on this episode down below. Give any recommendations that you may have for me down there too. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the like and subscribe button. And yeah, anyway, that's been me. Hope you've all had a good day, and peace.